Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber Show. We're here to cover the Lions game, recap it a little bit, and then look forward to the Eagles game coming up. I believe it's going to be a home game. I'm your host, Scrubber, and BH is with me here today. BH, you're on the road.
I am, man, on my way from Dallas to San Diego. And we're in Pecos, Texas right now. So, yeah, it's been a smooth trip, quite frankly. Been pretty good. And, man, I didn't know if we get a show in, but I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we're going to knock it out.
Nice.
So,
where do we start?
Well, let's get on to that awful game.
Yeah.
For once, Washington Commanders fans are all in agreement that that was a disaster. It really was. Before we went on, you said your point was, who cares how many, passing yards or receiving yards we got later on? Who cares if the defense tightened up later on? The problem I see, people say, well, it was Wentz, it was this. And I don't know if it's coaching or players, but the problem is, like you said, there was lack of intensity. There was a lack of being ready. They weren't. They got mowed over. And you know what? This happened a lot last year. It was the same kind of thing. Let's say the defense struggles. They just start getting eaten alive. And then in the third quarter, they get it together. They start playing like they're supposed to. But once again, it's like you say, who cares? We're down 18, 22, 23 points.
Yeah.
You don't get a ribbon for getting your act together in the second half. You start the game that way. And I really saw that in a lot of different phases. You could almost spread the pain around because, some of the sort of rankings for our players and the scoring looked really good in the aggregate. It looked nice, but boy, you compartmentalize it. You saw breakdowns in the DBs, the offensive line. I mean, right away, Wentz, it was just bad. I saw some really good all 22 of our O-line, especially at the beginning. And really, quite frankly, there was a couple guys teed off on Wentz. And we blew they were looping a couple times and doing some looping. And the wrong guy, the guy didn't get out. The lineman who's supposed to pick that up did not rotate. There's J.D. McKissick, I think, trying to block, what's his name? Hutchison, the guy.
Hutchison, yeah.
Yeah. And here's, and he just got mowed. And then the guy just crushed Wentz. But, I mean, this is kind of a recurring theme of just not a lack of intensity to start a game, especially when you're on the road, And you tell me, man, is that the coaches? Is that the players? What the hell?
I think it's coaching. I think it starts with the coaches and then leaks down to the players, especially with the Del Rio thing. That he had his little conference or whatever today, and he said, "I don't want to finger point at anybody, but you did last week." And it just doesn't bode well inside the team when you pick a person out, especially somebody that did okay. And there were other people on the team that, did worse than Jamin Davis. I could say Kendall Fuller. You know what I mean? He looked terrible.
Again.
And even Cole Holcomb ain't looking that good. He can't get off his blocks. He's just some bad-looking football out there. Our D-line looks really good, but I think it's the culture of the coaches. I just think they weren't prepared. And again, it's Scott Turner, just lackadaisical, just play up front, just not, 3 and out, just calling these plays that just look terrible. But I will give Detroit, kudos. They were ready. And Dan Campbell had them on fire. You know what I'm saying? He's a motivational kind of guy. So they came out with all the heat. And like you saying, we came out with no heat, like they've been partying all night the night before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just didn't come out with anything. I think it was the play calling too. So just a mix of all those kinds of things. And even in the second half when they were doing good, it was all catch up. It was all they had a super scramble to make those plays. Sure, they caught some passes and he got some yards, but those were like phenomenal catches. those were like, lucky runs. They relied on JD McKissick a lot in that second half. Those are things that shouldn't be happening. We should just be
Yeah.
running our regular game instead of relying on these, oh, we got to band-aid this thing and now start going to JD McKissick a lot, or start doing these other things instead of just running the game like you're supposed to from the very beginning. So yeah,
Yeah.
terrible.
And it was, and then I kind of agree with the coaching aspect of having guys ready, and really the Del Rio thing's unfortunate, and then Jamin made it worse. I think I forget where he went. He made a response, and boy, I wish he had thought a little bit more. You got to be the better person, because you just drag yourself down when you do that. And I know he's frustrated. He's a young guy. I mean, at 23, oh my God, I was a meatball, complete 100%. So I have so much admiration for a lot of these younger players, but still, dude, don't go on social media and do that. But getting back to it, like you said, it just sort of sets a bad precedent from a coach and against a team full of players who struggled. Why not go after a veteran? Go after a veteran for poor play. That really sets things in motion. I've used the old trick in running kitchens, man. I said, hey, look, I talked to one of my guys. I said, because things are just slow in the kitchen, people aren't hanging in there. And I said, come in the office, I'm going to blow you out. I want everyone to hear it. One of my top guys. And I bring him in the office, and I swear like a sailor, and I ream him out, and he goes back out in the kitchen. Now it's a little bit of we're putting on a little bit of a show. I used to do that. I didn't do it all the time, but I do that. And man, the rest of the kitchen crew, like, wow, he just crushed the head cook, just pissed and mad as hell. And then everyone falls in line, because you go after the big dog and he walks out, and so going after a young guy, man, this is a young team. It's a young team. You got a lot of youngsters, and that just wasn't a great way to go. But hopefully they can patch it up, and it'll make So I mean, basically, instead of sitting here, like you said, by player calling out what went wrong, I think we can agree there was just seemed like a lack of preparation and a lack of intensity of meeting the moment. Other teams, especially on the road, aren't going to gradually jack their game up. They're at home. It's a big game, and they're ready. And you just can't little by little sort of build it up. So, well, I don't know. So, I mean, there's no sense just beating it to death, except to say really across the board, we couldn't match them, man to man. They just beat us.
They had an answer for everything.
They did. They really did.
They broke out some big plays on us. Then 50-yarders. You heard me calling the game. Another 50-yarder, another 50-yarder, another 50-yarder. That was those big plays killed us.
It was, and and really, that wasn't Patrick Mahomes, and nothing against Jared Goff, but come on, man, if that guy's carving you up, you got issues, man. You need to really figure some stuff out. He's a good quarterback, but he ain't that great.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess we did get a couple of additions. I know we got Martin, who I think he was a backup, the center, which we need. Chase Roulier's out, and he's about 30 years old. I know he's the brother of the real good offensive lineman for Dallas,
Zach Martin.
So he's the younger brother, I think. And I think all last year he was basically the backup center, and I forget where he played, but he didn't have to play. So there's no
Tennessee
numbers
maybe or somebody.
Yeah, there was no numbers for him, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't like he was out all year with a hamstring or a bad knee. He's sort of one of those veterans that's just was sitting, waiting, and like there's a lot of them out there. I'm sure Landon Collins and Eric Flowers are out there. And when some guys go down, they eventually probably will get the call too. But we need this guy. I don't know how he's going to play, but he's a veteran. He knows what to do. I mean, when Roulier went down, I was thinking, oh man, Schweitzer's been banged up. I mean, who's our backups?
I think Schweitzer's going to be our center for this week.
Oh, he is.
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, great. I'm glad because I heard that he was practicing. So
Yeah.
thank goodness. Yeah, that would be great. But still, to have someone like Martin as a backup would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we went
oh,
through this
good.
with centers all last year. It was Roulier and Ishmael and Larson
Yeah.
and Schweitzer and Toast.
Toth.
Jeez,
Yeah.
it was
Everyone
horrifying.
went down. I mean, like literally, Ismail was the number 4 guy,
Yeah.
literally the 4th guy. And I thought they might call him up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
At least he knows the
I
system.
thought
But I'm glad to hear you say that it's going to be Schweitzer
it's
starting
going to be
because
Schweitzer.
he did a great job, number
Yes.
one. And number two, it gives Martin time to learn the play calling, the nomenclature, because when you're the center, there's a lot of responsibility. You do all the line calls,
Yep.
so you got to, it's going to take him a little time to get in the playbook. So I'm happy. I'm really happy to have him. And then the other one would be the defensive tackle that we kind of stole from the Cowboys.
Yep. Ridgeway.
Yeah. Big guy, kind of similar from what, well, I don't know what you're hearing, kind of similar like Fedarian Mathis.
Yeah.
Big, plug a hole, get in there and just eat up linemen, make them work hard.
Yeah.
Maybe not a big penetrator, but that's the kind of guy we want to start
Just
bringing
occupy, double blocking, that kind of stuff.
in. Yep. So I saw him. He pretty much looks like a guy who could plug some holes.
Yeah.
Big dude, man.
Yeah.
So
Like 6'5" and 330 or something like that. Huge.
Yeah, happy to have him.
Florida State
Now,
Trooper.
what is he?
Florida State Trooper.
What's that?
Oh, just because those guys are all huge.
Oh yeah, they're all yeah.
Giant.
So I guess on the downside, so that's good to have those additions, but it does look like our defensive ends. I was just reading when I got in, like Toohill is not practicing.
Concussion protocol, I think.
Wow, James Smith Williams is limited practice. Daniel Wise wasn't practicing.
Yep.
So all that's not good when you consider that Chase isn't there. So we'll have to monitor that situation. That could be challenging.
Going
so
up against that Eagles offense, they looked really good last week. So
they did. Yeah, guys like we're going to go a little deeper with Shaka Tony. Maybe William Bradley King will be brought up.
I hope
those
so.
Guys, yeah. Well, those guys are going to have to. They're going to have to step up, man. I mean, that's it. I mean, if it continues this way, they're definitely going to get pulled up.
Yeah.
At this rate, so they'll have to. So, not good, like you said. Considering that's a good segue.
Yeah.
Because we're playing a rival.
Yeah.
That's been playing some pretty good football.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts looks really good, man. He tore him up last week.
And that's bad for us because I mean, I tell you, we looked really bad against a pocket passer last week.
Right.
We have a history of not looking good against running guys.
Yeah, we got torched last year with mobile quarterbacks. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Stick Jamin on them or what, but what do they call that when they have a guy who shadows him the whole time? There's a term for it, but basically someone who can sort of shadow him at the line. Now that causes problems in other areas. So you have to figure out where you're going to get hurt. But man, if that guy just starts running all the time, it's just not going to be good.
Yeah.
So, well,
it is at home. I mean,
that's
a home game. So
yeah. And their defense looked pretty good last week, but not the week before. On paper, it's a darn good defense. Good linebackers, some great corners. So
they're better at stopping the run than the pass, which could work in our favor.
Definitely. Yeah. So and that passing game, did look good in the second half. I mean, there were some lucky plays, but when you put the second half passing game to the way Wentz looked in the first game, utilizing everybody the way he did, and we're talking he's only had 2 games with the team. Right. I mean, that's not that. He's doing pretty darn good for 2 games. Let's put it that way. But he may have to really, like you said, super utilize it and open things up. And because, like you said, it'd be hard to run against those guys.
Well, I think that's on Scott Turner still to dial up the plays and not be that vanilla like he has been. and
Yeah.
not the guys to come out supercharged. They really need to step up, come out hot, and then we've always had that problem too. Just
Always.
lackadaisical in the first, and then come back in the second. You can't
Yeah.
do that. You got to pop out in the first and get going, man. Score that first touchdown, or at least a field goal. Get
Yeah.
some, generate some heat. So
Yeah. You got to get out. You got to at least punch someone in the mouth a little bit, show them something. So I hope so. I mean, Turner's been doing a pretty good job calling. I was really impressed with the first game. Like it looked like he was finally like
he did.
playing, calling modern NFL football. Like, wow, he really kind of gets it. So I was pretty proud of him actually.
Yeah.
And he does good with second half adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you can't run away from your game plan right away. You can't just let your game plan just, okay, it's not working. But man, sometimes some in-game play calling where you change things up based on what the defense is doing. I'm not saying you just junk the game plan, but you got to look at what's happening on the field and go, hey, we're getting killed by this guy or by this setup. So what we're going to do, let's just call a play to attack it differently. I sometimes think that you just stick to the game plan, especially in a game like that where the players just look like they were overwhelmed, that they just needed something. So he knows all this. He has to, but we can't afford to have another game where we just come in really lax like that. So
I saw his press conference too, and they just softballed him all day. What do you think about this player? What do you think about that player? Hey, how about asking him a question? Why do you come out so soft in the first half? Why don't these guys are asking him just the lamest quote. What do you think about Jahan Dotson's play? I could answer that freaking question. Ask him a question that's legit, that puts him a little bit in the hot seat. You know what I mean? They just softballed him and he just walked away. And I didn't come out from that press conference with anything.
Yeah. They do that a lot. It's like maybe they're afraid they won't be allowed into the press conference next time. But you can do it. You don't have to be a jerk about it. But you can say, we seem to notice that there seems to be a lack of just readiness, like just ready to go at the beginning of games. And like we've talked about, it was last year too.
Yeah.
Where they just seem like, God, are they, like you said, were they out partying last night?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why aren't you guys ready to go? So, it'll be interesting. It's going to be a challenge, dude. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even making a prediction, even though at home.
Yes.
I mean, gosh, based on some struggles against Jacksonville, which is not a great team. Although, wait a minute.
Yeah, we came back and
who did Jacksonville just beat?
I think they just beat the Colts.
Yeah, Indy. Yeah, Matt Ryan, who's supposed to turn that whole thing around. Huh?
Matty Ice.
Matty Ice.
He's horrible.
Dude, I know. I don't know. I don't understand how a guy can retain his Matty Ice after that Super Bowl where he basically crumbled.
Yeah,
I mean, he just melted down. There's no ice in that guy's veins. Not to bash the guy, but anyway, all the people who were saying that Carson Wentz was trash and that he was going to come in and save Indy, they should go back and watch that game, man.
Yeah,
because he looked horrible. So, well, I just, man, I wish I could be more positive, man. You got to be more realistic.
Yeah.
I think there's a game that could get away really quick if we come in like Detroit. Very similar game. If they come in like that and we play that lax kind of not ready to meet the challenge kind of offense and defense, forget it. It's over. It'll be 21-0. Same thing.
Yeah.
And then we'll fight back and we'll lose by 8 points.
Yeah.
Who gives like you said, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
No ribbons for, fighting back. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
So, but I will tell you this, man, if this team wins, it's going to be like, I hate to say this, it'll come down to a Joey Sly kick.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't mean to bum you out even more.
Yeah.
Joey. Yeah. So, I mean, don't you think? I mean, I think it's going to be that close, that it's going to come down to that or last minute, some kind of last minute thing,
Being division rivals, that can be close. We know them, they know us. It is in our town. The Joey Sly missing the extra point. Plus, they going for the 2-point conversion before that. I thought was stupid. You kick the fucking field goal first, then you go for the 2-point conversion later when you have to. If you don't have to make the 2-point conversion, just take the one, then make the 2-point conversion later. And then he misses the extra point anyways, which just sealed our fate in that game. And it was, dude, that's him again, basically, losing the game like he did in the preseason. He lost the game for us, a couple of them games in the preseason. He should have had a couple of field goals. I think he even missed a PAT a couple times. So like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't want to rely on him.
That's another thing. I go through all the videos, Pedro Smith and Rico.
Yeah.
I mean, just everybody. I mean, Ed Oliver. I mean, and everybody on that 2-point conversion was just like, oh my God, in what universe is that a strategy?
It's not.
I mean, there wasn't one person that said, hey, well, you know what? It's not a bad no one went that route. Yeah, every commander's channel was just shaking their head. So that's bad news. Well,
bad coaching, bad timeout management. There's a lot of stuff being heaped on the coaches, in my opinion. So, and that trickles down to the players, and that might be why they're got no heat. You know what I mean? You got to be a cohesive unit coming out, everybody on the same page, because that stuff will divide a locker room. What coach is saying is true, and another person will be, why are you picking on him? So now you got these two factions inside of a locker room, and that just ain't no good. So
you can't have it. You can't have a group saying, hey, coach is right, man, you need to get it together, and have another group going, hey, why you get off the guy? He's working as hard as he can.
Exactly.
Boy, that stuff goes down the toilet really fast.
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, though, nothing like a victory to clean up a dirty mess.
Especially a division victory. And then we got the Cowboys the week after that.
Yeah. So a win here could get at 2-1 and against, like you said, a division rival.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, that would right the ship quite a bit.
Yeah, because the Eagles are 2-0 too.
Yeah, wouldn't fix everything, but man, it'd go a long way towards that. So, well, are you going to get the game? Is it showing where you're at?
I don't think it's going to be, but we'll do the live stream anyways. Follow the graphic on Yahoo and just hope for the best.
Yeah. I'm not sure. We may we still haven't found out when the truck's getting to San Diego, the movers. I'm supposed to find out tomorrow. I might stay an extra day in Tucson so I'll get to see it. As a matter of fact, I know a guy in Tucson's got DirecTV, so I might even be able to hang over there. Yeah, that would be nice. But I may be on the road too, so we'll see. But I'll follow you and get in there in the chat. And
the chat was fun last week.
Let's just hope we get a win.
Yeah,
it was. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people show up. A lot of people showed up. I really appreciated seeing Chris, Mountain Man, and those guys. That was cool.
Yep.
It was really cool. All right, brother. Man, I'm glad we pulled this off. I didn't think we would.
I know, dude. With you moving and you working, dude, it's crazy. So I'm going to try and get this done and put up tonight, and it should be easy enough to do. Just put some graphics on it and upload. So
good deal. All right. Well, hey, this is a shout out to all you Commanders fans that watch these videos. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it. These guys drive us nuts sometimes. We do love our team.
Yeah.
And we're there, and Scrubber's going to be there. He'll be streaming the game. So, show up, man, get in the chat room and we'll have some fun together.
Yeah. Maybe together we can pull them up. So, all right. Good job, my man.
All right, bro.
Everybody.
All right, man. Good show.